Good evening, Mr. Fernandez. I'm going to share screen. Right. Okay. So I've elaborated my work on language learning strategy, research, and system, looking back and looking forward. A systematic review made up by Shang et al. In 2019. So the current paper is taken from a journal called System, from which the paper is going to make a systematic review about insights on language learning strategy from 1970 to the present, and the prospects regarding future research. So investigations on language learning strategies began around 1970. There has been a steady growth in that area, which has led to establish groundwork and foundations within that area. And also, it has led to the creation of taxonomies and the publication of a large number of papers and studies. However, despite its steady growth, prominent academics have shown their disagreement on notions that are embedded in the idea of language learning strategies. For instance, they criticize how traditional individual difference factors have been replaced by the idea of self-regulation. That is, they have criticized that things like personality traits or specific methods or approaches that an individual has to regulate their own learning has been replaced by an idea that discards those personality factors, those individual factors. And one of the critiques used the expression of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, which means that by doing so, researchers might be getting rid of something valuable along with the things they want to discard. So, as a third point, it is worth to mention that although teaching methods based on language learning strategies are commonly used in education, there's still a challenge on how to totally capture and incorporate them into recent ways of thinking about language learning strategies. Such an idea comes from the fact that there is an ongoing debate and disagreement about how scientifically defined the term strategy is. Even though strategy-based instruction is something familiar to teaching, recent models or theories about language learning might not fully embrace that approach. Okay, so despite these challenges, the paper from the journal System shows that the journal has consistently supported has consistently supported and endorsed research on language acquisition techniques. In 2014, the journal has dedicated important attention to the topic in a special issue. Okay, now delving into the fourth idea, the paper has curated and chosen 13 articles from a journal that were published through a period of time of 10 years. To select those papers, the journal has established specific criteria, focusing on intriguing findings, engaging discussions, or innovative research methods. All of them address a number of issues pertinent to language learning strategies. Okay. As a fifth aspect, the journal system, which is conducting the current systematic review, emphasizes the importance of broadening the scope of research in strategic language learning. The idea of doing so is to encourage researchers not to explore language learning strategies only in English, but to have a more inclusive approach and to explore them within the realm of other languages, which is even more important given the fact that there are researchers whose mother tongue is different from English. Okay, as a sixth idea, I will mention now some key findings from different researchers, and I will start by that research made by two scholars, which emphasize the need for further qualitative exploration into the strategies employed by Chinese students in language learning. So what they did was to adopt a unique approach by delving into a historical perspective. So their study consisted in examining the strategy used among Chinese students across 3 generations. By doing so, they incorporated a historical and cultural dimension into language learning strategies. Therefore, they broadened the framework to discuss those individual strategies, and they advocated a more holistic understanding of them. All right. A seventh idea includes a diverse range of studies, each contributing with valuable insights to the field of language learning strategies. So, for example, the different papers show ideas such as the effective use of questionnaires as a research tool in the study of language learning strategies. Also, it explores lexical inferencing strategies, plus it deals with the impact of metacognitive strategy instruction, provides a holistic view of vocabulary learning strategies, investigates how writing as a strategy impacts on different proficiency levels of students, explores how the beliefs of students themselves and their learning strategies interact with one another. Okay, and finally, Another key idea is the diverse range of topics related to language learning strategies. As an eighth idea, as an eighth and ninth idea, well, the journal underscores its commitment to embrace educational technology so that it enhances the quality of teaching and learning experiences. And that is because there is a rapid technological advancement. We can see that with the progress of AI and democratization of technology, even though in large areas of the world, there is still a great need to access to technology. Also, it is important not to belittle environments with limited resources because still, as long as language learning strategies are aligned with pedagogical principles, they can still use educational technology to enhance teaching and learning. Finally, the paper finishes by demanding more qualitative research on language learning methods, which means to tailor the individual variations in how students apply different strategies in different contexts. And well, that's how the paper ends. And here is a quotation that I would like to highlight, which is, at the end of the day, we are all working towards a common goal to make learning a second or foreign language as efficient and as effective as possible through the use of learning strategies. So the common goal in the phrase means that the fundamental objective is bring together educators, researchers, and practitioners to use education as a means of progress in society. Also, making learning efficient and effective means to enhance the process of acquiring a second or foreign language. And by efficient, we mean achieving the goal with an optimal use of resources, time, and effort. Through the use of learning strategies means the applications of purposeful approaches, methods, techniques employed by learners to facilitate language learning. Collaborative effort highlights the fact that educators, researchers, and anyone involved in the language learning domain will suggest ideas and work together towards the goal of language education in a way that is as effective as possible. So, Mr. Hernandez, this is all regarding my presentation. Thank you very much.